everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of Attempted Optimism Podcast, where we're just trying our very best. I'm Justin.
And I'm Ben. And that was what we call a cold start. I don't know what we call it. That was out of control.
It is a cold start because we're talking about...
We're not there yet. You've skipped way. Oh my goodness gracious. We're going to have to just chalk the whole podcast at this point. Anyways, if you're still with us and you haven't quit in the first 3 minutes of this nonsense, we wanted to give you a little bit of update on some changes to the podcast and YouTube. If you listen to us on iTunes and SoundCloud, it really won't make a difference to you. Our podcast will come out as normal, 4 p.m. or thereabouts Central Standard Time on Tuesdays every week, and you can listen to the podcast in full. Yeah, they're normally 50 minutes to an hour or so for you podcast people who love podcasts. That being said, we also have been putting the podcast out on YouTube, and what we have found out over the course of doing this for a couple months now is that people don't like to watch long videos on YouTube. That's what it comes down to, honestly. We look at the kind of the numbers and how long it's viewed each time, and it's just not hitting numbers that you would want. So what we're going to do is we're going to break the podcast up into 3 to 5 smaller episodes, and we're going to put them out throughout the week. No real scheduled time for those. It'll probably always be around 4 p.m. and it just depends kind of on the day and how busy our schedules will be. But we will.
Can we talk about jargon here? Are we going to call them clips like Twitch, or are we going to call them snippets?
We're going to call them snippets. I think that's kind of what we're looking for. We're going to put them out. We're going to put that in 10 to 20 minute snippets instead of the full hour long. Hopefully, be a bit more digestible. So, if you don't follow us on YouTube, Land Creations Network is where we're at. That's where we put the Attempted Optimism podcast out. And so, hopefully, that'll help a little bit. And that way, if you even listen on iTunes or SoundCloud and you want something a little bit more digestible, even, you can go follow us on YouTube and listen there. So that's kind of some changes, and now we're going to move into what we're actually doing tonight. And we are coming to the, I would argue, best season of the year.
Woo! Blah, 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 blah.
We'll put a sound alert on that for YouTube. We're coming to the best season of the year. Justin and I have both agreed that fall is the best season of the year. And so what we're going to do tonight...
We're fall guys.
We're fall guys, yeah.
And can we add that into that as a hashtag so that we might be able to hit the algorithm?
I like that. We're definitely going to do that. We're definitely going to do that. So what we're going to do tonight is we're going to give you our top 5 favorite things about fall. These are biased opinions. We're going to go back and forth, and we're going to start at 5. 5 being our least favorite thing about fall. That makes sense, right?
Our fifth favorite?
Our least favorite of the favorites of our about fall, which is our favorite season. Favorite.
I'm confused.
Okay. Well, yeah. So our 5th favorite thing about fall, if you want to say that way, and we'll work our way down to number 1. So I'm going to throw it to Justin. Make him just go for it. What is your 5th favorite thing about fall? What's number 5 for you on your list?
My least favorite thing about fall is got to be the nature.
Nature. Okay.
And what I mean to specify, because that's kind of, it's a bit of a broad topic, nature.
Yeah, nature.
But there's a couple of things with that. There's a lot of ASMR kind of things that go on with fall that really kind of get me.
Crunchy leaves.
My wife. Woo!
I love crunchy leaves, dude.
Baby?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I knew where you were going.
It's like we're supposed to be best friends.
Yeah.
Crunchy leaves. Every time we're walking the dog in fall, no matter where we are, my wife is looking at me like I'm crazy because I will go out of my way to step on them.
You have to. You got to crunch the leaves.
And then you have to get them all. So like if the branch is laying this way, you just got to get that foot that away.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then try to walk like that.
Yeah. I got you on that.
Yeah, the crunchy leaves are huge for me. Just the crisp texture of the sound, the beauty in the colors on the trees is also like everything about fall is perfect. But
it really is.
If I had to pick a worst favorite thing, it would have to be it would have to be the way that the world kind of responds to that season.
Yeah, I love it. One of my favorite things to do, talking about crunchy leaves, and I'm wondering if you do the same. I did it as a kid all the time. I still do it as an adult. Is to take a crunchy leaf and like peel off the sides right from the stem. Oh my gosh, I'm with you. I love fall. Yeah, I love the colors.
There's actually a TikTok channel of a guy who just takes leaves in his hand and he's like zoomed in on it and he just
The internet's such a fascinating place, isn't it?
It's beautiful, man.
Yeah, I was literally just watching a YouTube video with Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and he was talking about how, because he started YouTube 15 years ago, and he talked about how one of his favorite things to do is watch like educational videos with his kids, and he basically was talking about how like nobody could have ever imagined a world where you could just get on YouTube and literally watch anything. Like you could watch a plant grow. He said one of the ones he watched is he watched his kids asked him like what happens when a fruit rots, and there's a whole series on YouTube of just fruit rotting over time. So, but yeah, I need to go find that TikTok now and watch some leaves being crunched, because I mean that's definitely awesome. Funnily enough, that's not on my list, but it's definitely, I mean, that's just how great fall is, right? There's so many incredible things about it. And if you've made it to this point already and you think we're going to say pumpkin spice lattes at some point, we're not going to. I actually went out on a limb. I looked at Justin for a second because I'm like, what if he says pumpkin spice lattes? We're not going to do it. All right. So if you're here for that, see you later. It was thanks for listening.
We were sitting at dinner talking about this, my wife and I, and we were kind of coming up with some things, and she was listing off a couple of things, and she was like, "Ooh, the drinks of fall."
No,
and I was
hard
like,
pass.
"I'm with you." But and then she finished the sentence with like, "Except for the pumpkin spice."
Okay, yeah.
He's on board.
So here's my number 5, and I'm gonna explain to you why it's on for number 5. Number 5 for me is pumpkin carving, and it's at 5 for me because there's something so nostalgic and incredible about like going to a pumpkin patch or going to like the town I live in right now. There's this guy who I'm guessing grows pumpkins, and he like rents out this big like warehouse type building, but both doors are like open to the outside, and he just puts all his pumpkins in there, and there's like giant white ones and like the really like weird knobby ones, you know what I'm talking about? And there's just some, you know what I'm talking about? They're kind of like green and gray, and they have like bumps on the outside. They almost look like molded or something. Yeah,
I call them plague ones.
Exactly. They look like there's something seriously wrong with them. They look like they're the 2020 version of a pumpkin, the equivalent.
Basically.
But there's just something incredible about going and picking out a pumpkin. But it's at number 5 for me because though I love carving pumpkins and I love like the end product, at the end of the day, I don't actually love carving pumpkins that much. It's a weird like you know what I mean? Like it's a weird
you like to think about it.
The nostalgia of it and the enjoyment of it is, but the enjoyment of it is not actually like it burns my hand. Does it burn your hands? Or so like some people, this is really interesting. Some people, like for me specifically, I'm like must be like slightly allergic to the inside of a pumpkin because it burns my hands. Like it won't get any like bumps or anything. It just burns. And some people that's the case, and others it's not. I don't know why that is.
You're fascinating.
Yeah, I'm kind of unbelievable. Thank you. Cool. Appreciate that. But no,
it's my superhero.
I mean, again, I love the end product. I love the picking out of the pumpkin, but the actual carving of the pumpkin is like, wow. So I just spent 4 hours carving the bat symbol into that pumpkin, and it's going to die in a week. That was incredible. Yeah. And then when my wife and I lived in San Antonio, it was like totally worthless because the weather doesn't change there. It just stays like 85 degrees. So like your pumpkin rotted like one day after you finished it because it's just humid and just sticky and disgusting. You put it out on your porch and like a day later it's like smushed and you're like, what happened to fall? So, but yeah, so coming in at number 5 for me is pumpkin carving. Before we move on to number 4, do you carve pumpkins?
Do I carve pumpkins? I would say, I don't know if we carved pumpkins last year. I remember there's been several years where we have done it, and I like to do it, but I'm kind of with you where it's like the idea and this nostalgia of doing it is much greater, I think, than actually sticking your hand in that mushy stuff.
Yeah.
But like I kind of get into the creativity of carving a pumpkin. Like one of my most favorite ones is I don't remember exactly how I did it, but basically I made the mouth too big because I was going for like a venom kind of thing where it was like really big and branching, and then the rest of it kind of caved in a little bit. So it kind of looked kind of stupid. But what I did was I took a stick and propped it up, but I wanted to kind of go a little further than that because it was a little janky and one of the eyes was messed up. So basically I got fed up and I took the knife I was using because it wasn't one of those little
I like what you're doing
little
here.
knives that you got from the kids. And I stabbed it in the eye. Because I was just kind of fed up and done with it. And then somebody, I don't remember who it was, but somebody was like, "No, finish it, and we'll put it on the porch," kind of thing. It was probably my wife. She likes to, really kind of push me into getting into those kinds of things, and I'm better for it. But so I put the knife into it, and I kind of went with this idea of like blood and gore kind of thing. And so what I did was I took a bunch of the inside stuff and I put it all over the mouth, like it was coming out like it had been murdered or something, a little bit coming out of the eye. And then I think I stuck another knife in it or something, and then put more coming out of the top or something, like it had been murdered or something. It's a little gruesome. Yeah,
I mean, you got this, right? It's fine.
But ultimately it's a pumpkin.
The kids that were trick-or-treating definitely weren't traumatized. It's no big deal.
And then it certainly didn't pull the knife out of the pumpkin, it being a real knife, and decide to do something bad with it. But yeah, I remember fondly the murder pumpkin I made one time.
Nice.
One of my favorite ones.
I think my top two that I made were, I did a R2-D2 one year. I think that was like one of the first years my wife and I were married, or maybe we're about to be married. That one was pretty cool. It was pretty intricate. And then the hardest one I've ever done was a Spider-Man one, because it was like you couldn't carve it all the way out. You had to like shave off the front, and it would brighten through in different darkness levels. But that was just like way too much work. Like by the end of it, I was done. So if you're listening, put in the comments what your like top tier pumpkin carving creation is. I'd love to see it. All right, number 4. Hit us number 4 on your list.
Number 4. Well, if you look at me long enough, what number 4 is, very quickly and very honestly, it's food around fall.
I definitely was not laughing at you. I had a small hiccup in my throat.
It's a tick.
Yeah.
Food is my favorite.
Okay.
I call it chili season, because I'm a huge
oh my gosh, I love
fan of chili. My mom makes some of the greatest chili known to man. She makes white chicken chili. She makes red bean chili. She does the whole gambit.
Yeah.
My wife does a really good chili. One of the people in our congregation here, for almost on command, she would make chili, and the way they do it down here is they do chili and then they put it over white rice.
Okay.
Which seems weird.
No, it's good. I've had it. It's definitely good. Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's so edible.
Yep.
And so chili is one of my main things, but like the turkey and dressing, the kind of meals that you eat.
Okay, I see you.
Fall, give you those, like, all right, it's nap time. Yeah. Like today for dinner we had roast.
I love roast.
And that's kind of like a Sunday thing, but like it brings me
pot
back
roast,
to like
carrots,
season.
Potatoes.
Yeah, pot roast, carrots, the little potatoes.
A little bit of brown gravy or something, like a little brown broth over it. Put it on top of bread. Oh my gosh. Do you put it on top of bread?
So much gravy. What?
Have you put it on top of bread?
I put it on normal bread, but we had the King Hawaiian rolls.
Oh yeah.
So I don't add anything to those.
I got you. I feel that.
But yeah, the food of the season is like, because you think about food in other times, other places, like summer's like a tailgating kind of thing, hot dogs, hamburgers, the whole deal.
Yeah.
But like fall food is just like,
it's unbelievable.
It's filling, it's comforting,
it almost made it on my list actually. But then I backtracked, because the weird thing about me is, like, for me, Thanksgiving food doesn't really do anything for me. So like I like pretty much everything you named, but I just have never really liked traditional Thanksgiving food. I don't really like pies. You can hate me if you want. Like, I don't like stuffing. Stuffing has always made me sick since I was a kid. So it's like certain staples of Thanksgiving I'm way out on. So I was like, I don't think I can put this on my list, even though, like, I agree with you. Chili. Here's a quick chili recipe. It's the easiest and best chili I've ever had in my life. 1 white onion. You simmer it in the pot. Throw the meat on top. Simmer it. 2 cans of ranch beans. 2 cans of the little tomatoes and chilies that you get at the store. Dump it all in, let it simmer for 30 minutes. Best chili. Guarantee it. We just served it. We just served it last week. It's unbelievable. I'll make it for you sometime when we get together.
Please. Can we get together? Can we put that in writing? Can we, please?
Right now, yeah. Are we ever going to get
another human
And then, of
being?
course, you got to throw in your Fritos, your cheese, your sour cream. Got to get a side of cornbread on the side. Oh, okay. So anyways, I'm going to move on because,
Wait. Don't move on. Sometimes. Sometimes, and hear me out on this. Sometimes you get a bowl and you put the cornbread
at the bottom. I feel that.
You know, you feel me, dog?
I got you, dude.
The other thing I wanted to mention was you talking about Thanksgiving stuff, and I'm not against that because I actually have an interesting, one of my favorite Thanksgivings ever. But shout out to my father-in-law who makes some of the best dressing I've ever had. It is not normal dressing. I don't know what he puts in it. Whatever he does, it's wonderful.
Shout out to your father-in-law. I think it was 2 years ago I had Thanksgiving with him.
There you go.
When we all lived in the same city. So,
And then the other thing was, you talk about like not normal Thanksgiving stuff. I remember one of the last Thanksgivings I had with my family growing up. My mom was like, all right, most of the time I make stuff for Thanksgiving and she, makes the whole gambit,
the whole deal.
The casseroles, the dressings, and all that. She was like, and some of y'all just don't eat it. So what we're going to do is you're going to pick a dish.
Yes.
And that's
the best way to do it. Best way to do it.
And my sister goes, all right, fine, spaghetti.
Oh my
right?
gosh,
so we started with it gets worse, man. She started with spaghetti. I feel like one of me or my brothers, one of us did like Asian cuisine, like egg rolls and like
that makes sense.
Sesame chicken or something, or teriyaki chicken maybe. But like there was just all these random weird dishes, and my mom loved it. Well, she at least made it seem like we loved it.
Yeah, of course.
If she ever hears this podcast, let me know if you actually did or not.
She probably hated it. She hated it.
She probably did hate it, but man, she made everything on our list. It was so bizarre of this Thanksgiving. That's one for the books for sure.
For me, we always chose. I mean, we chose as well because my mom, when we do a big Thanksgiving, if we're able to make it, which my wife and I are never able to make it anymore, of course. But like when we did choose, she would like tell us like, "What do you want?" I always had to go with like homemade chicken noodles. She did these like thick chicken noodles, like the noodles are thick and the chicken's like shredded, unbelievable. And then I have to have green bean casserole, which is hilarious because I hated it as a kid. But there's something about like crispy. The little crispy things on top of my green beans.
What are those?
They're like onion straw things. You can actually buy them in a little barrel at the store. You could just literally go and buy those.
I'll put them on whatever, man. I'll make a steak.
Put them on top of your chili, bro.
Okay.
So those were my go-tos. Give us your go-tos in the comment section of what you love at Thanksgiving, and if there's something strange, we'd love to know because we'll try it. Maybe we can make a video of us trying like weird Thanksgiving foods if anybody listens to this. So
that sounds good.
All right, for me, number 4, and I don't think this is going to resonate with you at all, but I think it will resonate with a lot of people. Number 4 for me is every sport is on. Something incredible about the fall, when you come into the fall, is like the soccer season is like ramped up. Basketball season's normally going right now. The NBA playoffs are going, which is really weird because they're normally done like early in the year. And then you've got like football going, and then if you watch other sports, there's always like I don't know if baseball runs during the season. To be quite honest, nobody cares about baseball. Let's just put that out there. Hot take, but I mean, like in any given moment, you can just like sit and watch sports, and that's kind of a new thing for me. Like I've always loved soccer, basketball. I've kind of always casually watched, but the older I get, especially now that like my son is 2.5, almost 3 years old, you realize like most of what's on television you can't really put on in front of your kids. Like you can't just watch normal television anymore. You can't like even like I can't even just like put on like a Harry Potter movie or a Lord of the Rings movie or a Star Wars movie because it's like not age appropriate. And he will sit and stare at the screen. So whatever's shown, he's going to see. And so you kind of realize like, oh, I can throw a sports, whether it's basketball or football or soccer, up on the TV and just leave it. With the exception of, and I know I'm getting old, like, can we chill out with the commercials? Like,
please.
Like, I understand advertising and all that, but like, there are so many commercials where my wife and I literally have to like grab our son's like and close his eyes because it's like, you can't see this. And it's like, I mean, it's like, what are we putting on television? That's a whole other thing. But it's kind of like, it's my number 4 thing that I love about fall is like, you can just like throw, like for instance, I just threw up like the NFL today and I just let it play while we were cleaning around the house and eating. And there's something great about being able to justify buying 2 large pizzas and like a Coke. Because it's like, well, but football's on, you know what I mean? Like, and pizza goes with football. It's like, there's an ad right there for it. So it's like, it like justifies bad behavior and that I shouldn't be doing, but it's like, it's Sunday and there's pizza. And so that's kind of the 4th thing that I love about the fall is you kind of get a gambit of sports. You can literally watch it all day on Sunday or sometimes all day on Saturday. So that's number 4 for me.
I would agree with that too, and I don't really get out for sports all that much. But that's kind of like an on my own thing. Like if somebody's watching a game, I will sit and enjoy fellowship watching.
Yeah, absolutely.
The game. And I do get really excited about cool things that are happening on the field. The problem is that usually I get excited about things that either team are doing, and that's not okay apparently.
Yeah.
And so, you know, sometimes I'll root for the other team or you know,
I understand that.
Yeah. And it's that kind of thing. But even more than that, I get really excited about being in a football stadium.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Really that's the sport that I kind of like see the most of just because, you know, it's America.
Yeah.
And
true.
And so, you know, when I'm there, I'm all about the sport. Like I'm in there. And I love it. And I do understand a lot more of what's going on than I let on usually because I do like that some of my friends explain
absolutely
things.
Yeah.
But where I kind of get lost in the weeds is when people are talking about it and it's not on and it's not like we're not watching it.
And you're like,
why are we discussing it? Because,
why is sports even enjoyable to you at that level?
People are talking about Dak Prescott, who's a football player.
He's the Cowboys quarterback. You should know that. Yeah.
Well, no, I do know that.
100%.
The problem is when people start talking about, oh, well, they won in 98 or whatever. And I'm like, it's not, I don't really.
You're not that deep. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a fellowship thing for you.
I like the sport. I don't like the fans.
Yeah. I understand that. Yeah. I'm with you. Like definitely specifically for like the NFL and for the NBA, like I'm a huge soccer guy, so like I root for my team. But like when it comes to like the NFL and NBA, like I will watch pretty much any game and just kind of like pick a team that I'm going to root for like that day, and I'm like, that's my team that I'm rooting for today. Like, and I have my my choice, like if I would love for this team to win it all, but most of the time the teams that I've chosen are not that good. So it's like I'm gonna just kind of root for whoever and enjoy the good moments. So I agree with that, definitely. And now like this year I've gotten really into fantasy football, which I haven't really ever gotten like really into it. So now it's no longer like rooting for a team. It's like rooting for the team that I need points for that week. So like, you know, my whole family roots for the Kansas City Chiefs. They live in Missouri, you know, not far from the stadium and all that. And like the Chiefs were playing today and I was like, I needed them to not do well so that I could win my fantasy football this week. But then when I realized I was losing my fantasy football, I was like, let's go Chiefs. You know, it's like, woo, get it for the team, you know, but yeah, definitely. So that's number 4 for me on my list of favorite things about fall. All right.